What is up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Welcome to week 4 episode of State of the Fan Address with me, your host, Pigskin Pete. I'm obviously in a different environment than my normal State of the Fan Address. I'm in my studio today. I was unable to shoot outside. There's something going on out there. But nonetheless, it is still a beautiful day in the low country of South Carolina. It's always a great day to be a Tiger, and every day above ground is a great day as far as I'm concerned. And boy, am I barely above ground today.
Casket!
God almighty. This might be the most frustrating football game that I have watched. Well, I take that back. Not the most frustrating football game because Clemson pretty much dominated the entire game. The only statistic that matters, though, is the scoreboard at the end of the game. Again, a lot like the Duke game. This one's different, though. A lot like the Duke game, Clemson dominated every statistical category, outgained them in total yards. Passing yards were about the same. Destroyed them in the running game category. Florida State only rushed for 22 yards. 22. Time of possession goes to Clemson. First downs go to Clemson. I mean, Clemson's defense did a great job yesterday at limiting a very, very talented Florida State offense with a couple of NFL wide receivers and a very good quarterback. And of course, like I said all week, leading into the game, when you have a team like Florida State with the amount of talent they have on that team, and the same thing with Clemson, and a game like this in Death Valley is probably going to come down to the turnover margin. And I know that's cliche to say that, but it's exactly what happened. Clemson had one turnover that led to 6 points the other way. Florida State had 0 turnovers. Now, there's a bunch of different things. If you're a Clemson fan or even a Florida State fan, you can look at and say, well, this is the reason for that. This is the reason for this. The missed field goal, whatever. First of all, I want to go ahead and say that nobody should be blaming the field goal kicker for this. I mean, the guy hasn't kicked a football since April. He came in there, made several kicks that maybe we wouldn't have made had he not been there. He shouldn't have been put in that position at the end of the game, if you ask me, in the first place. That's where the game was lost. The last 5 minutes or so of regulation and then the overtime was the most infuriating 6 or 7 minutes of football that I've ever seen in my entire life. This loss is on Dabo Swinney. It's not on Cade Klubnik. It's not on the defense. It's not on the running backs. It's on Dabo Swinney. Clock management, number 1. Play calling at the end of the game, number 2. There's absolutely zero reason. There's absolutely zero reason when you have the game in hand. Use the clock to your favor. You're down in the red zone. All you have to do is run as much time off the clock as you possibly can. Try to get a touchdown. If not, kick a short field goal. No, they don't do that. Of course, they don't do that. 2 passing plays in a row in short yardage situations, which stops the clock. Also, you've got Phil Maffa sitting on the. Where was number 7 in the last 5 minutes of regulation and in overtime? Where was number 7? If I told you that Phil Maffa was the best running back in this game, would you believe me? Because he was. He was averaging 7 yards per carry, more than Will Shipley. That's right. Guess who had more carries than Phil Maffa in this game, particularly in the time frame that I'm talking about, the end of regulation? Cade Klubnik, designed quarterback runs. Phil Maffa sitting on the sideline. Obviously, you got to give credit to Florida State and Jordan Travis and the offensive staff there because the best defensive back for Clemson, Nate Wiggins, who did a great job, really, at limiting a very, very good player in Coleman for the Seminoles. He goes down on the last play of regulation, and so the first thing that they do in overtime, Florida State gets the ball first, and they expose the loss of Nate Wiggins. Touchdown, Coleman. That's what they should have done. That's what they did. Now Clemson has a chance to tie it up and keep it, take it to double overtime. You get down to a 3rd and 1 situation, and let's be real here. You watch the game, it really wasn't a 3rd and 1 situation. It was less than a yard that they needed to get, and 2 straight passing plays. The first one is the one that everybody's talking about, and they should be. They do a bubble screen pass to the sideline. He gets tackled for a loss. That's absolutely unacceptable. It's a 4-down territory. You've got Will Shipley and you've got Phil Maffa. Neither one of them touched the football in either one of those two plays. Why? Well, Dabo Swinney says, well, he's got to hand that ball off. It's an RPO, so it's up to Klubnik whether he's going to pass it or hand the ball off, right? Well, Klubnik chooses, based on what he says was the number matchup on the outside, to pass the ball instead of hand it off. Hey, I got news for you, Dabo. Don't give him the option to pass it in that situation. If you can't get 1 yard with these two running backs in 2 plays, then you don't deserve to win the game anyway. So, and of course, Cade Klubnik has to, I made the wrong decision there. I should have handed it off. No, I'm not putting this on Klubnik. It should have never been put in that situation to begin with. But I can honestly say this game, for me, was worse than the Duke game, because at least in the Duke game, a comedy of errors with the turnovers. You can't win that way, turning the ball over as much as they did. And Cade Klubnik's first game, as the real solidified starter and leader of the team. I know he started the game in the Orange Bowl last year. That was a different situation. So Cade Klubnik in the Duke game came out looking like a deer in the headlights. He was in his head, or I don't know what was going on with him. But that wasn't the case last night. The team as a whole played great. And Florida State's a very, very good team. In my opinion, Clemson was the better team yesterday, and they still found a way to lose this. And I'm putting that on the coaching staff. I'm putting that directly on the hands of Dabo Swinney. So it's very, very frustrating. But look, you don't deserve to compete for a conference championship if that's the way you're going to call football games. You just don't. So congratulations to Florida State. I guess go win the ACC now. You're in the driver's seat, although the ACC is still wide open. A bunch of 4-0 teams. What is it, like 5 teams that are 4-0 right now? Duke, Syracuse, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina. So still a long path. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the ACC. But pretty much Clemson's chances of competing for that title are pretty much out the window. Now, 2 ACC losses 4 weeks into the season with this much talent on a team. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. All right, everybody, have a great Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the midday show. Your boy checking out.